So what is Talent Stacker? Well, let's start with what we have. So as a company, I didn't just want to get paid. As I just mentioned, I was making great money being a Salesforce consultant. And I wasn't necessarily concerned with making more money doing Talent Stacker. My goal was to have the business itself cover its own expenses and for me to continue being a freelance consultant and doing that side of things. So I wasn't interested in really making a lot of money from Talent Stacker, which is a great way to start a business, by the way. Like, don't be concerned about the revenue, be concerned about the people you're serving. And it makes things much easier for you from a business perspective. Obviously, I was coming from a great position of having good financial means at the time. So I started with the free 5-day challenge. And the whole goal of this was I had so many people, I mean, literally hundreds, even thousands of people in any given month saying, hey, Brad, what is Salesforce? How do I get started? How do I land a Salesforce job? And I said, I've got to put something together so I don't have to keep emailing everyone back and messaging everyone back one by one. And because I loved talking to the individuals and helping people, but at the same time, I didn't have the bandwidth to message, 100, 200, 300 people a week. It was impossible. So I said, okay, I'm going to take some time and put together a 5-day workshop or 5 days of exercises. So this is what I started with 6 months ago, and it is still what I have today. And it is 30 to 60 minutes a day. You can take it at completely your own pace. You just get an email once a day for 5 days. You take it at your own pace. If you open the email today or you open the email next month, that's totally up to you. It's going to help you get started on Trailhead and help you understand what you need to do on Trailhead to get your first certification. It's going to help you improve your personal branding on LinkedIn specifically, because LinkedIn is where most recruiters and hiring managers live. So we definitely give you branding information to help you build your brand on LinkedIn. And then we actually help you find projects, volunteer projects, how to get real world experience to bridge that gap between I don't have any experience, but people want me to have experience. So you bridge that gap. So over 5 days, that's what we do. And then on the last day, what we do is it's a 1-hour webinar where I basically sit there with a person who's guest speaking with me, Jonathan Mendonza, and we talk for about an hour on the top 6 things that are stopping Salesforce professionals from breaking into the space. And this is where I hear people saying, Brad, the Salesforce space is saturated. And it's like, no, it's not. There are tens of thousands of job openings constantly, new ones every day, every week. Hey, Brad, you have to have experience. No, you don't. Hey, Brad, you have to have 5 certifications. No, you don't. All these different things where people can come up with one good excuse why they can't start their Salesforce career, and they latch on to the one good excuse. So what we do is we give you a 5-day challenge to help you realize you don't have to be stuck. You can get unstuck. You can move forward with your career. Totally free, no strings attached. It's not like free for the first 5 days and then join. It's not a trial. It's none of that. Free 5-day challenge. So go check that out, talentstacker.com/Salesforce down at the bottom, and enjoy that. So I'll talk more about that later, but let's go a little bit further now. All right. So taking the free challenge, what is it? So what we're trying to do is at Talent Stacker, our goal is to get people making $60,000 to $80,000 per year at their first job. So we're not talking about low paying entry level career paths. We're talking about high paying entry level. Why? Because Salesforce is so in demand that, of course, now these numbers, you have to be aware of your locale. I understand this is a global group right now. So this is United States, Canada, Australia. We try to achieve $60,000 to $80,000. Now, of course, be aware of your local markets and things like that. But what I can tell you is that through the 5-day challenge, we are positioning you, no matter which market you're in, no matter where you're from, no matter where you live, we are positioning you in the best possible way to start a Salesforce career. And that's what you have to remember at the end of the day. So if you want to ignore the dollar amounts we're looking at, ignore them, because the focus is we are positioning you in the best possible way to start your Salesforce career. Now, so what you're going to get, 5 emails, 1 per day for 5 days. You're going to get, we give you a video course as well as basically a lesson and breakdown workbook where it tells you exactly what to do. This is your task list. This is what you need to focus on. These are the pro tips to make sure that you're having success in the 5-day challenge. And that's what we go through with you. All right. So now at this point, there's sort of a break here. So that was the 5-day challenge. So I want you to mentally understand we are changing conversation. So I know a lot of the branding and the slides and everything sort of looks similar. But now we're going to talk about, well, what about after the 5-day challenge? Like, what do I do then? Like, I'm likely not going to land a job in 5 days, and you're absolutely right. So what's going to happen after those first 5 days? What can I expect to do then? Okay, so the 5 days is going to give you a DIY approach. So you can go do it yourself. It gives you everything you need to launch forward and have your Salesforce career right in front of you. So that's what it does. Now, what about after that? So you can take the DIY approach. You can go do it yourself. We have the Salesforce for Everyone Facebook group where all of our members hang out and talk with each other. I'm always on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I'll have links at the end of the presentation for everything. But yeah, so you can come into our Facebook group. You can head into our LinkedIn page. You can check out the YouTube channel. We are constantly providing free content, free conversations, free answers to all of your questions to facilitate the DIY approach if that's what you want to do. Perfectly fine. I have nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty frugal myself, and I don't want to pay for anything if I don't have to. In my opinion, though, free does come at a price. Free typically means whatever you're doing is probably going to take longer than a paid approach, but sometimes it's hard to understand when a paid approach is the right approach. Because if you're like me, you've paid for a lot of things that suck, and that's just the way it is. So you don't want to get burnt again. You don't want another course. You don't want another something that just leaves you hanging. So let me talk to you a little bit about, this is our paid program. It is called the Salesforce Career Development Program. All right, so what do we do in the program? So what we do is we take that 5-day challenge and we take it to the next level. So what we do is we say, hey, if you don't want to do it yourself, if you're tired of trying to figure these things out on your own, if you're tired of not having a guided approach, you don't have a dedicated support system, what can we do? So what we do is we take every single gap that is stopping you from becoming a Salesforce professional and landing a job, and we close the gap. So how do we do that? First off, if you're not certified, and I do want to point out that about 30% of the members who join our program are already certified. And the reason that's important is because a lot of people think, well, I got certified, I'm close, right? Not really. Getting the certification is absolutely necessary, at least one certification, but there's a big difference between landing a job and having a certification. And thousands of people have figured that out. Thousands of people who do not have Salesforce jobs, but they have certifications. They figured that out. And so I saw people struggling with this in the Salesforce for Everyone groups that I've created. And I thought, wow, I wish there was something I could do to help them understand what else is it that needs to be done. And so if you're not certified, we do facilitate study groups to help you get your admin certification. We also have other member-led study groups for Platform App Builder and Platform Developer 1. And we also have some materials to help you get those. But it's not a big focus. Once you have one certification, we take the focus away from certifications and we lean our focus into other skills and other talents that you need to work on in order to land a job. So we do targeted personal branding. So what does that mean? We take the LinkedIn branding that we gave you in the 5-day challenge and we amp it up, and we actually will audit your LinkedIn for you. You can watch videos of audits we've done for other members. You can work with other members to improve your branding. We give you backgrounds for your LinkedIn profile that are already branded and customized specifically for you. We prepare you for interviews. We even do one-on-one mock interview sessions. So if you need, some people are introverts, some people just don't speak well, some people are, they're not comfortable. Maybe they're a second language English learner and they're not comfortable on interview topics and things like that. And we talk to them about, well, how can we improve? How can we be better storytellers? How can we showcase our value in interviews? And we work you through that. We also guarantee real world experience. So you might say, well, How on earth do you do that? Well, we have a nonprofit alliance through the Talent Stacker program. What does this mean? It means that if you join the program, you are guaranteed to join a project team and work on a real world project. This is not data entry. This is not toying around in Excel spreadsheets. This is 100% Salesforce project work, and that is extremely important. So how do we facilitate that? And let me tell you, this was probably the biggest hurdle for the program. I thought it sounded simple on the surface. It was not simple. So at this point, we have all senior consultant project coordinators. These are people who are full-time Salesforce consultants, and they work with our program to lead our volunteer projects. So what they do is they work with the clients and they go get the requirements. They talk about what the needs are of the clients. They put together scoping and requirements documentation. And then we assign a team to work with them to complete the project. So you are working under the guidance of a senior Salesforce consultant. We typically do teams of 3 or 4 on these projects. And this is all completely legitimate. You put it on your resume, you put it on your LinkedIn profile. Our project coordinators, if you do a good job and you work well and you communicate, they give you letters of recommendation and references. So this is huge. You want to talk about closing the gap. The real world experience is what makes our program really tick between that and branding. We also help you with job searching and application strategy. And a lot of people think, look, Brad, I know how to apply for jobs. I go on LinkedIn and I click apply now, right? No, and that's where you're wrong. And that's where there is so much more than just clicking apply now, because apply now is what 10,000 other people are doing. You don't want to be one of 10,000. You want to be one of 10, 50, 100 maybe, but you don't want to look like everyone else. So you have to differentiate yourself. So that's exactly what we help you do. We help you apply for the jobs that are right for you. We help you find jobs that no one else is finding. And we help you apply using strategies that help differentiate you from other people. And one thing I want to point out is that there is no college degree required. There is no tech background required. This is, I would love to tell you that we have a pattern that we found where specific types of people really succeed. But I'm actually really happy to tell you that we don't see a trend with the type of person that succeeds, other than they lean into the program. They are willing to accept guidance. They don't give up quickly. They don't look at it and go, hey, I tried really hard for 30 days and I guess I'm never going to have a job. Like, you know what? Sometimes when you want to be a skilled professional in a tech space, it takes more than 30 days to skill up into those positions. So as long as you're willing to take it seriously and you're willing to level up your career and actually take advice when it's given to you, those are the types of people who will be successful. All right. So moving forward, so what are our results like, right? Because I am a very data-driven person. I am not interested in hearing about things that have no backing. I am not interested in hearing about things that should work or could work or whatever else. So we actually are fortunate enough we use Salesforce ourselves. We capture a lot of quality data in our Salesforce org about our members and their success. And this is the data that we have at this point. 84% of our members land Salesforce jobs in under 6 months. And so some people have asked me, like, 6 months from when? Is it like 6 months from when they finish the program? And the answer is no. It is 6 months from the day they join the program. So you could be coming in, and this is a real story, and we'll talk about these later. You could be coming in currently a truck driver. You could be coming in currently a hospitality worker. You could be a stay-at-home mom right now. You could be a stay-at-home dad right now. You could be any number of things. And that is day one. The day you join the program is day one. So from that moment, if you said, you know what, I want to buy this right now, I'm going to go buy it. Currently, it's on a wait list, so you can't buy it today. But if you could buy it today, that's day one. Within 6 months, 84% of people who purchase the program have a job. 47% of those people land that job in under 100 days. And I can tell you that it's right around 30% land that job in about 80 days or less. I just got a text from a person this morning. If you follow me on LinkedIn, so thankful for the program. 37 days landed a job. So there's so much that goes into this. And I do want to point out the fourth bullet. I'm going to skip down. It's like, you don't just land a job. You don't just land any job. Our members average 65,000 for the US, Canada, and Australia at that entry level first job, full-time jobs, W-2, full benefits, all that kind of stuff. And so we have had over 2 million jobs, and not everybody tells us how much they made. So we don't know for some of the members because they prefer not to share it. But we know for a fact over 2 million jobs landed just in January, February, March through our program alone. So that's sort of some of the metrics. Those are the things. I don't know that those are the things we care about internally. I definitely care about people landing jobs, but other in quality, high paying jobs as much as possible. But what we really care about is serving the members day in and day out and just making sure that they're comfortable, they're confident, they know they're taken care of, they know that they're part of a community that is backing them up. And that's where I really spend most of my time, is inside the program, working with the members and making sure that they're successful. All right, so let's take a step forward here, and we're going to head into some member stories now. So we do have a lot of incredible stories, which, when I first started hearing these stories, it was impressive and I was excited. And I thought, maybe that's a one-off and maybe it worked for that person, but it's not going to work for other people. And I was really apprehensive about my own program, right? It's like, I thought it would work. I felt very confident it would work, but when you're going to sleep at night, sometimes you wonder like, oh my gosh, is it really going to work? Like, I don't know if I stuck my neck out there and now it's not going to work. But we have created some incredible stories. So we have a few different, things we've seen a lot. It's, over the last year, specifically what I would call the pandemic pivot. And that's people who maybe lost their jobs. They were furloughed. They got really scared about their industries during the pandemic and they were ready to pivot out. We had people who came from completely non-technical backgrounds. We had people who either decided not to go to college, or maybe they did go to college, but then they didn't end up getting a job. And they're wondering, what do I do? So those are some of sort of what I'll call the different types of people who have had success. So now looking at this, and some of the people may be on the call right now, but these are some of the people who were in the middle of a pandemic, and some of these are different. It's like, Anita down in the bottom left, she was working in the hospitality industry, realizing that there was some major change coming to her industry during the pandemic and decided to pivot out. You have Danica right there in the middle who, she was working in secondary or higher education, and she realized, maybe there's some other areas where I can utilize my skills, and was, picked up to go work with a Salesforce, a company that used Salesforce as a vendor for her higher education group that she was working with. There's so many people here, like Josie Kelly. We just did a live event with her yesterday, and she's coming from being more of a stay-at-home mom, taking care of her family. Daniel in the top left was 3X certified, so he had 3 certifications. He had followed the standard narrative. He thought that the more certifications you get, the better your chances are, and he thought that I'll jump right in and get my job, and then finds out, wow, no matter how many certifications you get, it takes more than just getting a certification. So we were able to move him forward very quickly because he had those certifications. So we didn't have to put him into study groups or help him get certified. He was able to jump into a job very quickly through the program. He actually ended up with 4 job offers in less than a month because of the strategies in the program. And then Miss Copra, she worked with us. When I first talked to her, I had a conversation with her and her husband to make sure that I instilled them with trust, that we were legitimate, that I wasn't just trying to take their money. And I will point out that this program has a 30-day money back guarantee. And I know that sounds really salesy, but the point is that if you come into the program and you're not happy, you don't feel like you're getting what we told you were going to get, we'll give you your money back, because we have no doubt in the program. So there are people like Tucker. Tucker graduated from college, 3 years. He was a great student. At 21 years old, he finished college and was not landing a job in his field. So he joined our program and thought, maybe this is what I need. Maybe I need something more, specific and targeted. And 79 days later, he is working a job. I know he was able to buy a new house. He was able to change his life. The same goes for, Eric. He was he was working in like sales. I believe he was like a sales development representative, and it's just not what he went to college for. It's not what he wanted to do with his career. And we were able to help him pivot out. We talked to people like Vasobi. He was a math teacher, and he was able to transfer into Salesforce in just 2 months. And then we have individuals like Hugh, who were professional. He was a professional truck driver, but very interested in the tech space, and he transitioned into Salesforce. So let's look at a little bit here. Excellent. So I just want to show you, and I think this has become more apparent to me, and it's something I didn't fully understand early on when I started the program. But to the left, what you're seeing to the left is actually Hugh's daughter commenting on his success. And this is on our YouTube channel. And she just says, I'm proud to call you a dad, the person that raised me, and pointing out that Donnie, their grandson, is going to be so happy to have their grandfather home. He worked about 60 to 80 hours a week on the road. He saw his family about once or twice a month. And this is when these stories really hit home for me, when I see the impact it has, not just on the person getting the job. I think Hugh was excited to get off the road and start a tech job. I think he was more excited to spend time with his family. And you can just see how much lives can be changed when people can take control of their careers. So now Hugh's working from home. His biggest problem right now is probably getting used to seeing his family every day, and learning to live with them again. And it's an incredible problem to have for people in the situation. So let's see if we can play a quick clip from Hugh.
Now for the fun part. This is my setup. And no, this is not set up like this when I'm actually rolling down the road. So what do we got here? We have my refrigerator, which doubles as a seat. Microwave doubles as a footrest. And old pillow to keep my butt from going numb. And then I am currently configured as if I were either doing Trailhead or had a meeting going on. So what do we got? We've got Samsung Galaxy Book Alpha with the fancy processor. My S10e, which doubles as my webcam using Droid Cam. Let's see here. iPad Air 2, doubling as a secondary desktop using Duet Display. JLab audio mic. And if I have any other heavy lifting, Chrome OS. Also, if I really need another screen, my TV can double as a screen as well. So yeah, that's kind of how we do it in the truck.
All right. So the reason I share that is because I've seen a lot of people who are not in the best situations. They're too busy. They've got things going on in their life. They've got other things that pull them aside. So I just want to point out that not everyone is like you, but for someone who's working 80 hours a week, driving a truck down the interstates, his family's at home, he's trying to get home to them. He isn't even in a proper office. He's literally got his laptop and iPads and everything else plugged in the sleeper cab in the back of a transfer truck. He is able to transition into Salesforce profession, okay, into a Salesforce, professional job. And life has changed forever. So I just want to point that out to say, I don't care if you ever join a program that we offer. That's completely up to you. But I do want you to take control of your career. And I do want you to know that whatever obstacles you're up against, you can overcome them. Does it take thought? Yes. Does it take strategy? Does it take thinking outside the box and perseverance? It absolutely does. But there is a huge Salesforce Ohana out there. There are tens of thousands of people who want to help you. I want to help you. I can tell you that if you message me on LinkedIn or Facebook, or you comment on a post, I'm never going to try to sell you anything. The stuff that I sell, it's already out there. People are aware of it. If you know who I am, you know that I have a program. I don't need to sell it to you. That's up to you. But I'm here to do everything I can to help. And there are thousands of people just like me who want to help you. So if you're not already utilizing social media, Slack, Trailblazer communities, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, to get involved in Salesforce groups, make sure that you're doing that. So another person I wanted to mention, Anita Smith, and I know we're getting sort of long on time here, so I'll move through this, but Anita came from the hospitality industry. For many of you who don't know, she joined our program in the back, sort of the later half, maybe I think November of last year, and she dove headfirst into the Salesforce space. She came from a hospitality background working in the hotel industry, and she pivoted into a Salesforce career. Now, why do I bring her up? Because of her tenacity, because she landed her job and then immediately started doing guest spots, speaking and collaborating with other people. She was featured on Salesforce's sort of like a trailblazer featured guest. She's been on our channel. She's been on podcasts. She's given back to the Ohana. I see her constantly coaching people, working with people, and she actually came back and is now working with the Talent Stacker program and is helping other individuals improve their branding and have the same success that she's had. And this is what I talk about when we talk about the Ohana. People like Anita Smith who go, when we talk about above and beyond, it's not enough to say above and beyond. It is far beyond what she needed to do. She could have just taken her job and enjoyed it and got her paychecks and enjoyed her life. But similar to what I'm trying to accomplish, it's not okay to be successful by yourself. You need to give back and take control. And that's what the Salesforce Ohana will do for you. If you want to find out more, obviously, these are the links. So if you want to find the Talent Stacker website, you can just head over to talentstacker.com. If you want to do the 5-day challenge, just put /Salesforce on there. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, just head over to linkedin.com /n/Brad Force. Or you can just search Bradley Rice on LinkedIn. You'll find me. We do have our Facebook group, facebook.com /groups /Salesforce for everyone, as well as the YouTube channel. Same thing, youtube.com /Salesforce for everyone. So that, I think wraps up my presentation. But I would love to take any questions.
Before we go ahead and move on to the Q&A segment, Bradley, I'll just be inviting real quick Richa. I believe she's
Awesome.
over here. And I have seen her very active as such when it comes to trying to help out people. And I'm glad that she's been part of SheforceWIT as a family as well. And Richa, I would like to request you to please come over and maybe just share your Talent Stacker success story.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Akhilesh. Good to see you, Bradley, as always. Hello, everyone. As Brad has mentioned, how my story started with Talent Stacker was I was reluctant at the beginning. Then I had a call with him, with my husband, and was just trying to figure out, how to go about it. And I'm glad after I joined the program, there was no looking back, and it all went well. After I cleared my certification, the Bradley's project helped me. His program helped me big time to in job search, and not just job search, but how to go about in making my portfolio. That was a very big help because it actually helped me in attaining my jobs, and also for improvising my LinkedIn profile. So all these things were a big help for me. So after I got certified, I started working with 3 part-time jobs in January and landed a full-time role in March. So thanks to Talent Stacker, I always tell, if I can do it, everyone can do it. And I've been guiding people. I have been coaching people on LinkedIn. I get requests every day and just trying to share my story with them. My interview with, what happened with Brad, I just share that link with them and then answer their questions. So I just hope, everyone gets successful, and everyone deserves to be successful if they put in that hard work which is needed.
Thank you so much, Richa.
Yeah,
appreciate it. And all I just have to say is, Bradley, she's been in SheforceWIT as well. And all I just have to say is, Richa, thank you so much for just being so inspirational to try and help out women as such. And congratulations for your new hustle, and wish you good luck. And just keep hustling, just like blazing the trails, like we say in the Salesforce ecosystem. Thank you so much for sharing your success story, and we appreciate your time.
Okay, my name is Anne. I'm already a member of Brad's program. I just noticed a question in the chat. There's quite a few questions in the chat that, so I just happened to come across it. Thought I would propose it to Brad.
Yeah, thank you for that. So if you head over to, so number one, to join the wait list, you can head over to talentstacker.com/Salesforce/CDP. And I just dropped that into the chat there. So if you want to copy that, you can join the wait list there. The wait list right now, if I recall correctly, I believe it's about 10 days. It might be 12 days, something like that. And so really the purpose of the wait list is for us to onboard members who are currently joining so that we can get them in, make sure that they're comfortable, make sure that we don't have any red flags that are coming from anyone joining in or anything like that. And then once those members are onboarded, and usually there are no issues at all. We might have some questions, but what we try to make sure that we do is not have too many people join at once so that we can make sure, our email inboxes aren't filling up with questions or, LinkedIn messages and all that kind of stuff, so that every member does get a response. And I think anyone who's here that's a member of the program could probably speak to the fact that the way that we do that helps facilitate that. So if we get messages on LinkedIn, Facebook, if you message me via email, anything like that, you're going to get a response right away. Especially as a member, you're going to be responded to definitely within 24 hours, probably within just a couple of hours. And it just helps us make sure that we can give everybody the support that they need.
I see a next hand from Try. Try, can you please go ahead?
Yes. So my name is Tri, and then I got my first admin certificate last February. I'm working on app builder certification program right now. I heard you mention about the characteristic or people who succeed for entering the Salesforce, and I'm trying so hard right now to break into my first job in Salesforce, and I can tell you it is tough without experience. Most of them require experience. Have that. But I'm interested to know more about, because you mentioned points, the quality of what people can be successful, and I missed some of them. Could you repeat that again, please? Thank you.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a bulleted list. I'll say it's the type of person, and I can pretty much tell from the description you just gave that assuming you're being honest, then you are likely the type of person who would succeed. And it's the type of person who speaks up at events like this. It's the type of person who attends events like this. And those are the characteristics of people who they're immersing themselves. They are trying to better understand, what is it about the Salesforce ecosystem that I am missing? What is that one diamond in the rough tip that I need to make a difference for my career? And that's really what it's all about. So it's the type of person, we have some people, and I'm not going to share any names, obviously, that come into the program and they'll say, hey, Brad, I really want to get my admin certification, but do I really have to do all the Trailhead modules that you recommend? And it's like, okay, that's a red flag right away. You're already looking to shortcut the process. Hey, Brad, I'm introverted. I saw all your tips about LinkedIn, but I don't want to network because that scares me. Okay, it's okay for things to scare you. It's okay for things to make you uncomfortable, but it's not okay to say, for this reason, I'm not going to do what you say. I want to do it a different way. And those are the things that make you go, uh-oh, like we need to help this person and like pick them up, because if they're already trying to figure out ways to not follow the steps, then they're going to be in some trouble here. And because every piece of it is important, and it's about putting the puzzle together. And the same thing goes with the volunteer projects. And for this reason, we have skilled volunteer project coordinators, because when you operate in teams of 3 or 4, sometimes members will attempt to not participate, or they'll attempt to not speak up during presentations. And that's why we have those coordinators there. And it is to identify those people and speak to them afterwards and say, hey, I noticed during the presentation that you didn't talk at all. I noticed you didn't ask any questions. I noticed that you did not present on the work that you did. You had another member present your part. We noticed that you didn't show up for the meeting last week. And it's all those things. And we're not there to baby you and say, hey, you need to make sure you're speaking up. We're there because we want you to be successful. And if you're choosing to take a back seat and you're choosing not to lean into the process and really get that quality experience, then the puzzle's not going to fit together properly for you. You're just going to make it harder for yourself. And we're here for you. And that's the whole purpose of the program, is to be here for the members. So I would say, if you're the opposite of that, if you're the type of person who goes, you know what, I'm asking for guidance and I'm accepting that I don't know everything, and that you clearly have figured something out that must be working for people, then let me just take your advice for just a moment. Let me just try it for a few weeks or a few months. And I can tell you that if you lean into this program for just a few weeks, you will immediately notice traction. I'm not saying you're going to land a job in 30 days, but I am saying you will notice things are changing. You are getting calls, you are getting messages, you are getting scheduled for interviews. Things are changing, and you realize, okay, this is it. This is going to work. Let me put my effort and energy into moving forward with this and making it work. So it takes you as much as it takes us. Some people come in and they go, hey, Brad, I thought you were just going to guide us and like show us what to do and pretty much just get us lined up with a job. And it's like, no, you don't get paid $70,000 a year by me doing everything for you. This still takes effort from your end. And I think it's just important to know that the hard work does pay off, and we're your trail guide. Like, we take you, we guide you forward. I know I'm getting sort of long-winded here, but I love talking about this stuff. And I sort of try to put it as, imagine walking up to the edge of like a forest. And when you look through the trees, you can't really make out a trail. So you don't really know where to go, and you don't really know what to do next, but you know, because you've been told that there's a Salesforce career at the other end of the trail, but you can't find it. And then someone walks up and says, let me guide you. I know exactly where the trail is. I know exactly where to go. Now, I didn't say the trail was easy. I didn't say we weren't going to climb some hills. I didn't say it wasn't going to be muddy, and it's not going to be cold, and it's not going to be hard. But what I'm telling you is I know which direction to go. So I know that when we're going through the hard, muddy, snow-covered rocks, that we're still going the right way, and we just have to push through it. And that's sort of how I compare it.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks for sharing. So we'll just move on to the next question, which is from Soumya. So Soumya is just trying to ask, considering the long-term career in Salesforce, will being the Salesforce admin be enough, or what path do you suggest moving in the future going forward?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So here's what I'll say. Anytime in any career, you should not be complacent. And what I mean by that is that you shouldn't land your first job as a junior administrator and then go, all right, this is it, end of the road for me. I hope I can make a career out of junior administrator for the next 20 years. Clearly, and I know that's not what you're asking, but I just want to point that out. So you should always be progressing. You should always be advancing yourself, both in your skills, your hard skills, your technical skills, your soft skills, your ability to interview. There are a lot of these things that people don't focus on. And sometimes it's trailhead, sometimes it's the next certification, sometimes it's job hopping to something more challenging. And that's up to you. What I will say is that there used to be sort of a line that said, look, you're either a Salesforce administrator or you're a Salesforce developer. And that line is not there anymore. You can be a Salesforce administrator, a developer, you can be an analyst, you can be a CPQ specialist, you can be a field service lightning, marketing cloud. Pick your specialty. You can do whatever you want in this career. And I advise people, follow your interests. If you love marketing, then go do Marketing Cloud, go do Pardot, lean into those specialties, because you're probably going to enjoy your career more. But no, I mean, honestly, at the surface level, do you have to be more than an admin? No, you don't. I've made a career as what I would call an admin. I've been an admin for the last 11 years. And what I mean by that is I never did coding. I never specialized in CPQ. And I'm not saying that everybody should do what I did, but I'm saying that you don't have to do anything, and that there is a path for you to go the direction that you want to go. And I would just say, look at the Salesforce world, always challenge yourself, have 2 to 3 tangible things that you're trying to accomplish as your next step, and focus in on those things. So do your day job. Once you land your first job, do your day job, and try to come up with 2 or 3 items on your vision plan to continue to make yourself a more marketable professional.
Thank you so much. So let's just go ahead for the next question, which is from Carly. She's just trying to ask, if I am admin certified and I join your program, how long does it usually takes to be matched with a project opportunity?
Yeah, so if you're talking about a volunteer project, those are usually less than, it's tough, right? Because we are coordinating those and finding those for members and making sure we get a project coordinator aligned. To set expectation, it just depends. Typically, those kick off towards the end of the month. We're getting them organized. So let me look at the calendar now. We actually had quite a few kickoff here in the last 2 or 3 days. So I would expect probably mid-month is when you can expect those to kick off. It does vary about 7 days in either direction. But it's definitely less than a month is what you should expect. Probably closer to 2 to 3 weeks from the day you join. Basically, there's a process where once you join, there is a way in the program where we ask you to let us know that you're already certified. And as soon as you let us know, hey, because this is something that I didn't point out that you sort of seem to already understand, you do have to be certified to join one of our volunteer projects. It's one of the prerequisites because we want teams of people who have at least, number one, shown dedication. Number two, we want people who are at least reasonably aware of the Salesforce functionality in order to help out with the team. So a prerequisite to being on a project is getting certified. We want you to focus on that first. So once you join in, if you're already certified, I could tell you it's a thread that is labeled Module 5 Volunteer Projects. And you comment on that thread and you say, hey, Brad, I'm already certified. And we put you on our list and we get you assigned to a team and we get those projects introduced within about, I would say about 2 weeks on average.
So Brad, we have next question from Angela, where she's just trying to ask, how long do you support your members after they land their first jobs?
Yeah, so what we do, so number one of the key moments when people ask a lot, or there's a couple of key moments when members ask a lot of questions. It's when they first join. And we do have FAQs and we do a lot of introduction to try to help mitigate that, but it's a transition and you've made a purchasing decision, which I absolutely respect 100%. And you want to make sure that you don't somehow let this slip. And so this is a pivotal moment. You're transitioning into something new. And that is when we get a lot of questions. It's sort of funny because the next moment we get a lot of questions is when people are applying for jobs. And it's not really applying. It's when somebody says, hey, we'd like to schedule you for an interview. It's all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, oh my gosh, it's happening. Like, what do I do? I don't think I'm prepared. And we get a lot of questions then. The third part is when they land a job and they start on Monday and everything's cool when they land the job and they're excited and they're sharing it on LinkedIn and Facebook and all this kind of stuff. And then it sort of hits them like, oh my gosh, I start on Monday. Like I don't know what to do. I'm not a Salesforce professional. But it's imposter syndrome. You are a Salesforce professional. You have earned your spot and you need to accept the fact that you have earned your spot. Does that mean that week one is going to be stressful or not stressful? It's going to be stressful. Any transition causes anxiety and that's natural, but we absolutely support you. I will tell you, you can ask any member. There is not a moment where we say, nuh-uh, we already did our part. Have a good one. That's just not why we're in it. That's not why I started this. You don't even have to be a part of my program and I'll support you. Just message me on LinkedIn. I'll do everything I can for anyone. But if you're one of our members and you've gone through the program, if you've got a job and you're feeling a little anxious, we will be there for you. And in fact, it's not just me. The entire community is there for you. The entire Talent Stacker program. We have no one who lands a job leaves. I mean, they stay in the program, they hang out, they mentor other members, they answer questions. We do live Ask Me Anything sessions. We just did one yesterday with Josie, and all of the group members have a chance to ask other people who have been successful, what do you think you did that made a difference? What is it like being a professional? What was it like day one? And it just puts everyone at ease. So let me assure you that you will never not be supported. And if we are, shout us out on social media and let us know that we are not doing our part, because I can assure you we're going to do our part.
Thank you so much, Brad. I mean, that totally makes sense. And all I simply believe is like, I mean, day one is always someone new and you just need to just go one step at a time. Once you got started, just embrace the change and take some time to start, I mean, absorbing, which is going to be a new normal. I mean, I also started as an electrical engineer. I also transitioned into IT industry. So all I would say is like at that point of time, we didn't used to have Trailhead, all the user groups and all that focus, which is now being provided to all the newbies who are coming into the ecosystem. So all I simply believe is you have the support all around. It depends up to you to whom you reach out to, the right audience, right group, right people in the community. Definitely you'll find your touch points as well. So next question we have from Savita. So what she's trying to ask is, I am a Salesforce certified administrator, and she had worked on 3 volunteer projects. So she needs help getting maybe interview related guidance and maybe landing a job. So what she's trying to ask, Brad, if I join your program, within how much time could you help me find a job? It's a good question, Savita.
Yeah, that's a fair question. That's what we're here to talk about, right? And I'm going to answer one quick question from above just because it's quick too. Is this for admins only? No, this is for, I would say, if you want to be a Salesforce professional, this is for you. It's not specific. Now, am I an admin? Yes. Does that mean it's only for admins? No, we have 3 different workshops going on right now. We're doing flow automation workshops, we're doing developer workshops, and we're doing marketing cloud workshops. So this really is for anyone who wants to be a Salesforce professional. We're going to get you the exposure you need to do that. Okay, so let me actually answer the question now. So you've worked a few different volunteer projects, and you need specific help in interviews and then landing a job. So, so the first thing I want to say is a lot of times we have people join or people who are interested, and they say, hey, can I just buy part of your program? I'm already really good at this other stuff. I just need help in this stuff. And so what I would say is, again, this is a puzzle. This is comprehensive. There is a stack of different talents you need to pull together to be the full the full product, the Salesforce professional. And I would say just be cognizant that one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that they think they know what their problem is. And I think it's time to take a step back and say, I'm struggling to land a job. And maybe the thing that I thought was the problem all along wasn't even the problem. Maybe it was some very minute little thing that when I tweak it the right way, it makes all the difference in the world. So I would first like to say that, like, if you join the program, do it all. Don't just say like, okay, skip. Here's the interview prep. Let me do that. Do it all. Do the LinkedIn, do the branding, make sure that you did the right things in how you search for jobs. Make sure you do the right things and go ahead and join another volunteer project with us. Why? Because like I said earlier, it's the quality of the experience that matters. Because when you get quality experience, you're able to go into interviews and tell stories. And when you have quality experience, you're able to build your confidence, you're able to build your skills, and you're able to network with other individuals, get letters of recommendation, get reference letters, all those things. When you do quality work on a quality project, you build much more than just a line item on your resume. So I would point that out. But to answer your question, I would say if you've already done, let's say one of those volunteer projects was quality. And so you're admin certified, you've already got a volunteer project under your belt. Yeah, so we can bring you in, we can do mock interviewing and interview prep. I would say you're probably going to want to do LinkedIn branding and branding prep. You're going to want to learn how to apply for jobs effectively. That means following up, doing personal connection and networking growth. That there's a few different things. Yeah, so I would say if you're coming in, we've had people in your situation. I would say definitely less than 90 days is what I would estimate. If you took it slow, it depends on how much time you have to put into it. But I would say we've had people like Daniel I mentioned earlier. He came in certified and was just struggling to figure out where to turn. And I think he was right around like 30 days. So I don't want to promise you or set an expectation that it's just going to happen overnight and just click. You might find that there are some other areas that you really need to work on. But I would say expect probably around 90 days and be surprised when it happens much faster.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks for answering. I think we'll just roll over real quick because we have a hard stop as well very soon.
Sure.
But I hope, would it be okay if you're able to maybe expand maybe by 10 minutes or so? Would it be fine?
That's fine from my end.
Okay, perfect. So we'll just go ahead with some few quick queries. So we have next one from Parvati, where she's just trying to ask, could you please just help her elaborate in terms of the Salesforce consultant role, how it looks like, or any such insights on that?
Yeah, so just the Salesforce consultant role in general and what that's like. Yeah. So I'll give a brief description of that. I do have some YouTube content around what consultants are and what they do and why it's different. Internal roles are typically much simpler. A lot of times you're on a team or you're working with some very specific requirements for one company. And that is usually a little more relaxing than being a consultant. And the reason for that is because as a consultant, you're typically working with I would say 2 to 4, let's say that 2 to 4 different projects at a time. And it just becomes it can be mentally challenging. When you're working with 4 clients at a time, you might have 2 internal team members on every project. So now you have 8 internal team members. You might be working with 2 external client-based points of contact. So that's 8 additional points of contact from the client side. So if you're working 4 projects, you could very regularly be receiving emails from 16 different people a day. And that can be overwhelming to juggle, not to mention these clients are probably paying your consulting firm somewhere between $175 to $250 an hour. So while you're not making that much money, they are paying that much money. So they expect a $200 an hour person working on their projects, which means when they need something, they expect you to respond. So I'll say that, and it's not to tell people stay away from consulting. I 100% advise consulting because it challenges you. It helps you grow. It helps you understand different industries, different technologies, the different ways that different companies use Salesforce. And it's very important to grow and truly understand the Salesforce ecosystem. However, internal roles are typically, and I say typically, sometimes you'll get, a company that just has a hardcore work culture. But typically, if you are an internal employee for a company, that's usually more laid back. They're not paying $200 an hour for you. They're willing to sort of grow with you. I think they're both great, but they definitely come with a different level of responsibility.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks for answering. So I have a next question from Ayana. I'll definitely be taking that, but I'll be asking her to possibly reach out to you for more clarity on that. So she's requesting for information around what price are we paying and the time and duration and time for classes, and specifically, like, will those classes be recorded? Maybe if you can share some context, but I think since it involves some pricing related information, Brad, I would advise her to reach out to you as such for all those details, because since you're not selling or purchasing anything, we just would advise her to reach out to for all those details. Any context on that?
I'll say quickly, if you sign up for the wait list, if you didn't get it, it's in I know I dropped in the chat a while back, talentstacker.com/Salesforce/CDP. If you go there and get on the wait list, we will actually send you some informational emails about the program, including the price. We also have different types of payment plans for different people, depending on what your needs are. So there are a lot of options there. Feel free to reach out to me personally if you want to, but when you join the wait list, we're going to give you plenty of information about exactly what the program is.
Thanks, Brad. So I'll be taking the last question from the day since we have a hard stop real quick. So we have a question from Lisa from New Jersey. So she's just trying to ask, she's seen your videos. You've said that anyone from 16 to 61 can do this. What advice do you have for those closer to the end of the range than the beginning? She's been a consultant in the tech space previously, so those have skills, but not with Salesforce. So, Brad, if you can.
Yeah, well, I'll first say, if you have tech skills, it's just leverage. I mean, if and nothing against you, but if you can take a professional truck driver and have them become a Salesforce professional, certainly someone with a tech background can transition with a little bit more leverage. It should be a lower barrier to entry for you. Again, you mentioned that you've been a consultant in the tech space, which is even more leverage. So you're coming with quite a impressive background. What I'll say too is that you'll notice that if you don't know already, Salesforce has a very progressive culture. They are trying to get rid of isms, and what I mean by that are, ageism, racism, where you're from, what your gender is, all those different things. there's no interest in isms anymore. And I'll say that you'll find that many of the companies that choose to use Salesforce are embracing that mindset. Now, I'm not saying all of them, and every company is different, but I will say that companies that are currently hearing about Salesforce, currently attending Salesforce training, going to Dreamforce, they're getting hit with that culture of, hey, let's accept everyone, whether they're, and you have people like Elon Musk from Tesla talking about, I don't care if you have a college degree. I honestly don't care if you have a high school diploma. I need you to show that you can do quality work and that you're ready for a challenge. And I would say that Salesforce is maybe not as far along as Tesla or Elon, but they are definitely moving in the right direction and far out in front of most companies. So what I'll say is the fact that maybe you're on the far side of that, getting close to the end of your career, or what most would consider towards the end of a typical career, to me, it just means that we have to take your background, and we're specifically targeting you. So we're going to take your background and we are going to mold that to showcase the value. We're not interested. No one's allowed to ask how old you are. I know it comes out. They can look at when you graduated from college, blah, blah, blah. But we are showcasing everything that makes you valuable. And when we do that, it doesn't matter how old you are. Nothing else matters. All that matters is you are a valuable asset. And I'll also say in the Salesforce space, people job hop constantly. If you're at a company for 2 years, that's a long time in the Salesforce space. And it's not because you get fired. It's because you're so in demand that another company is offering you a $30,000 raise to come work for them. And you really have no choice but to say, like, I want to be loyal to my company, but are they going to come even close to that new pay scale? And if they're not, you end up job hopping because it's the right thing for your career. So the reason I bring that up is companies aren't as concerned with, are you going to be working with us for the next 10 years? They really just want a good employee for the next couple of years. And that's a win in the Salesforce space.
Thanks, Brad. I think that pretty much sums up the question which she had raised. All I just have to add is, Lisa, as a mentor, if you'll be reaching out to people who have been the mentors in the ecosystem or have a good years of experience, I've shared my links as well on LinkedIn and Twitter. I've also mentored, women from 18 years of age to until 53, 54 years of age. So trust me, age is just a number. You should just be ready. You should have the zeal and enthusiasm to just make a transition, and you can make it any age, irrespective of wherever are you at the mid, start, or end of your journey of your life. It's just a new step in your direction or your new life. That's all I would sum up to that. So I'm just taking last question for the day, Brad, which is from Sampada. She's just trying to ask, is there any scope for Salesforce testing?
Yeah, larger companies with more intense processes, where they're, doing a lot of development, they have scheduled releases, they're working in a lot of different sandboxes and things like that. Yeah, you can get into testing. What I would say is don't silo yourself. Be more general. Don't worry about what you're comfortable with or what you know or what you think you need to be in order to get in. Just focus on being more general. Now, if you don't code, then of course you're not going to apply for developer roles. But I would say if you think you're a Salesforce tester, be willing to apply for administrative roles, apply for analyst roles, apply for solution architect roles, and be willing to read job descriptions. You will find that this goes every different direction. Some people will post a Salesforce developer role. You read the job description, there's no coding necessary. You'll read an admin role. It'll ask you to be developer certified and know how to write Apex code. It goes every different direction. People are really bad at posting job descriptions and posting job postings in general. They don't know what the titles are called. I'll tell you, I don't even know what the job titles are anymore. It's like, what is an admin? What is an analyst? What is an architect? What's a technical architect? What's a developer? What's a Java advanced Salesforce developer? There's so many differences that if I don't know what the clear-cut difference is, we cannot expect some random company in the middle of, Arkansas to know how to post the right job title. And so you need to look at those and be aware of those when you're applying, and don't pigeonhole yourself into, I've got to be a tester. Just be willing to do what you need to do to get your foot in the door in the Salesforce space.